Thanks for joining us today. So we're doing a series on planning, and today we've got Valentine Kembo from Cleeka. Valentine, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll discuss a little bit more about how you plan and you're planning for growth. But can you just introduce yourself and introduce your company to our audience?
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Valentine Kembo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cleeka.Africa, an online shopping marketplace for cross-border markets. We basically enable people in cross-border countries to buy products from South Africa, and then we deliver to their addresses. So I really do enjoy it, and I don't fear the challenges. Yes, there are challenges in building businesses, but what keeps me going is the vision, the end result of what I see I achieve or solve those kind of problems. So yeah, that's who I am, and that's what I do.
So can you tell me a little bit about how you plan for growth with Cleeka?
Okay, it's actually quite interesting, and thank you for really inviting me to do this with you, because it's one of the things that I enjoy, planning for growth for my business. And when I plan for growth, first I have to define what does that growth look like for me and my business, So in our business, we are a digital marketplace. We are on the internet. So that enables us to reach people from anywhere in the world without actually having to be there physically, right? So the first thing I do look is, okay, what does that growth look like? Am I looking at increase in sales or revenue? Is it entering new markets, new suppliers, new customers? So that's the first thing that I look at. And as soon as I define what that growth looks like for me, and for a company like ours, it's mostly the number of customers we have, which in turn increase our revenue. And in what markets are we servicing our customers in? So that's the first thing I do. Then when I have a clear picture of what that growth looks like, then I start to look at three things. Which markets do I go to? Is there demand for our service in those countries? And do we have enough staff or the capacity to run with that growth? Do we also have enough supply of the products to sell in those countries or to those people? Then if I have those three things in place, then the next thing I look at now is, do I have the resources, the financial resources to be specific, in order to get into those countries, in order to grow the business. And the other thing that I also look at is the skills that's required, or the red tape that's required to maneuver that kind of growth. For our company, as you know, we do cross-border markets. There are a lot of tons and challenges that are involved in that. How do you then export goods into a different country? The import or export rules, are they different from the other markets that we are into? So all of those things, we look at those things and see how best can we go around that and offer our service into the markets that we want to get into.
So in terms of, we all had, before COVID, we all had an idea of what growth looked like, and then there was COVID, and now we were kind of getting out of it. So can you just explain to me how your mindset and your planning was different, for growth before COVID, what you did during COVID, and then what you're doing subsequently to that?
All right. So I think first I need to explain our business model in order for me to be able to explain or to make you understand the changes in how we now plan for growth. So our business model was centered on us not having warehouses, right? We buy goods on demand, and then we ship to customers' addresses. So we use our retailers like your Pick n Pay, your Macro, your Woolworths as our warehouses. They have stores where they sell to their customers. So we've got no need for us to have a warehouse or ship goods ahead of time and spend so much money, right? So that has always been our thinking around our business model or our planning. It was centered around those kind of facts. But then when COVID came and, supply chain was disrupted, borders were closed. I think the first 2 weeks of COVID, we were not able to do anything. I actually told people that this is the end of our business because we rely on shipping across the border, right? So, but our planning before was just to go into the stores, buy, ship. So we now want to ship goods ahead of time, before customers order. Then we have goods there, and when they place their orders, we can be able to easily ship to them and deliver to their customers, right? Then another thing also that we're not even thinking about it all was the safety of our employees, regarding the COVID or the pandemic. But now we found ourselves having to look into things like, okay, if we are to have a warehouse, how is that going to look like when people come into that area, into that premise, and their safety? COVID prevention. Do we have sanitizers in place? Do we have a COVID workplace policy in place? Those kind of things. So yeah, those are some of the things that we are now having to look at, but we never had to look at before. And also in terms of the logistics part of things, we're now trying to look at how best can we serve our customers using the technology that we have. So when COVID came last in 2020, and borders were closing, we were not able to do anything. Fortunately for our business, it's a digital marketplace. It's the business that's on the internet. We're able to pivot very quickly, unlike most other companies that were not on the internet. So one of the things we did was having to offer our services locally. Since also people in South Africa were not able to go to the stores, we now offered them, we'll go to the stores for you guys and we bring goods to your houses. It's still the same category, still the same catalog of products, just that we now needed to do last mile delivery as opposed to shipping across the borders. So now we've also found ourselves in the same situation in Zimbabwe, whereby customers don't also want to go into the Zimbabwean stores to buy. Now that we have this infrastructure built, how best can we fully utilize it in order to serve our customers? So now things like last mile delivery, grocery delivery, food delivery, we're also looking at those kind of things in Zimbabwe. And also it forms part of our sort of like a resilience or agility plan in order to fight COVID. Because what we've realized is if you have one line of service or product, and if that part is disrupted and you've got no revenue or income coming, then you're most likely not to survive. So you need to have multiple streams of revenue, multiple products that you're offering your customers, so that if one line is disrupted, you can still rely on the other to keep your business running and sustainable. So those have been some of the things that have changed in how we look at planning for growth for our business.
And then lastly, I just want to touch on the benefit for planning in your company. If you can just tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I'm a big planner, Charmel. I plan way ahead of time. I think I can credit that to my mom. She has always taught me to plan things ahead of time, And one of the things, I'm sure there's a saying that says, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So I've always also carried that with me in doing my planning. What we have realized, or what I've realized personally as an entrepreneur, is that foresight of the things that are ahead, right? That's one thing. Secondly, it also limits the challenges or the mistakes that you make as you grow your business. So if you're able to plan, one of the things that I realized was there are some things that I didn't know. I did not know how to do. So I found myself asking, okay, if I don't know how to put a strategy together, what must I do? Right? It's either I find books that I can read about business strategy, or I find people who have done it before and go and learn from them. So I've come up with a number of guys that I've reached out to who have built businesses in South Africa, successful business, and I've gone to them and say, like, look guys, I'm trying to do A, B, and C, and how best can I do it? If you were in my shoes, how would you do it? What kind of mistakes have you guys made, and how did you solve those kind of mistakes? How can I avoid those kind of mistakes? So planning gives you that kind of mindset whereby it limits those kind of mistakes that you're more likely to make. Also, one of the other benefits for planning is you have a clear picture of what you're doing, right? You've got a clear vision of where you're going with your business. And if an opportunity comes up and it doesn't align with your vision or with your plan, no matter how big it is, you have a better ground to understand whether you should say no or yes to it. Unlike if you're clouded how big the opportunity is, and you just say, yes, it's going to be big for my business. but it doesn't really align with what your business is going towards. So that's also some of the things that we've discovered in terms of planning. It gives you benefits on what things to say no to and what to say yes to. And also time management. It helps you manage your time wisely. You know what to prioritize, you know what to push ahead of time of the schedule and say, okay, this one's not really important. Let's start with this one first. So that's also one of the things that I also realized in terms of the benefits for planning. Yeah.
Valentine, thank you very much for sharing your experiences. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time. Thanks everybody for joining, and keep up. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmel.